Oh, right. Hi, Debjani. Can you hear me?
Yes, Claire. Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity, I would say.
Of course. Well, welcome everyone. I see some more people are joining this. Right now, we'll also be live streaming this. So the point of this hour with Debjani is to gain some knowledge from her about SAP HCM and SuccessFactors. So Debjani will give us some more insight throughout the hour, but just as a brief introduction, she's an HCM and SuccessFactors expert. And she also, we just were looking at her number of courses. She currently has 9 courses live on micromanagement. So it's quite the feat. So we are very lucky to have you as an instructor and an expert in your field. So today, the point of this hour is to both learn from Debjani and also to ask questions. So we want you to ask questions throughout the presentation, so you don't have to wait until the very end to write your questions. I will be monitoring them to Debjani, letting her know what you write in. So you'll see the questions tab, and please write in your questions as we go through. Don't be shy, ask a million questions if you want, and we will get them answered. So with that, take it away, Debjani. Thank you again for doing this for us.
Yeah. Thank you, Claire. And I would like to thank everyone for taking time to attend this webinar. So this is my first webinar. I'm excited and a little nervous also. And I hope that after this session, you get more knowledge about HCM and SuccessFactor. So I'll start with a brief introduction about myself. So let me go to the next slide. One sec. Just 1 minute. I am facing some issues. Somehow it's not working. If you don't mind, I'll just start again.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, okay. So my name is Debjani Kar, and I have been an SAP as well as a SuccessFactor consultant. So I started my career in 2003 as a SAP HCM consultant. I joined IBM. I was working in IBM as a project trainee when I was doing my MBA. And after I completed my MBA, I got a job there, and I got a chance to work in SAP HCM. And that time it was like SAP, very few people knew in India as well as all over the world. So I never had any formal training. It was all on the job, and I got a chance to work in many of the big clients, and with everyday learning, I am in a position where I am. So I basically feel the more you learn, the more experience you gather, that's how you can build your credibility as well as knowledge. Knowledge is something which you can share with others, but it will stay with you throughout your life. So, and there is no substitute for hard work or knowledge. So that's what I cherish, and would definitely want aspirants also to do so. So I have been working with SAP for more than 18 years now, and I have been working as a SAP SuccessFactor consultant, basically mostly in Employee Central and Recruitment module, and that's been since 2017. And in addition to that, means when I initially was working in SAP HCM, I was a hardcore functional person. I did not know much about coding, but since my last engagement, the current company that I'm working on, as I got an opportunity or a challenge, I would say, where I had to get engaged in an architectural role where I had to work on complex interfaces. So I'll tell a little bit about it. Interfaces is like, say, for example, since we are working from US, we know that ADP is a preferred payroll vendor, and ADP handles the US payroll very well. So once you have your system, say the HR system of records, in our case was SuccessFactors, you have to send the data to ADP so that the payroll can process. So this is means the sending the data to ADP and getting it back. It's how we do it. It's through an interface file. So that means the file fetches the information of the employees and sends to the vendor in their format so that further applications can happen. So I got a chance to work in that. ADP was one of very complex interfaces that I have been working on. Then we have Fieldglass. Fieldglass is another SAP. It's SAP tool only, but what it does is that it ensures that the non-employee records are stored and the non-employee records and all other updates are done. So updates in the sense like a manager change or a type of worker that we have, if we are changing or you are changing the locations. So Fieldglass is the system of records for non-employees, but you also need to maintain the data in your system of records, which is SuccessFactors, so that you can run reports and also do other activities. So that was also another vendor that I worked on. That was also a very complex interface design that we had to do. And then there is another SAP product only, S4, which I guess most of us are aware of. So S4 mostly houses your finance related data, procurement and planning data. So HR data needs to go to S4 so that the vendor master can get created. Then you have it feeds to Concur, which is used for travel management. Then you have Ariba, which is used for procurement. So this is in short details about my credentials. Claire, would you like to see if there are any questions before I move to the next slide?
Sure. Yeah, it looks like so right now I don't have any questions written. Oh, actually, I take that back.
Okay.
I do have one coming in. Thank you for checking on that. So we have a question coming in saying a lot of people are using SuccessFactors on mobile.
Yes, that's right.
If you have any insights on that, it looks like the question may have gotten cut off a bit. But yeah, if you want to speak to SuccessFactors being used on mobile, I don't know how common that is with other modules as well, if you want to speak to that.
Yeah, so that's another feature that we have in SuccessFactor. In my current project or my current company, we don't often use the SuccessFactor in mobile technology, but yes, you have to enable that in SuccessFactor, and that's how you can use that mobile technology. And prior to this, when I was working in one of my clients, we had Fiori. So Fiori uses mobile application to a very great extent, especially for their travel expense module as well as the time module. And the problem that we had with mobile technology was that you have to test in Android as well as you have to test in iPhone, and many times there were like upgrades that needed to happen, and then there were like two-way authentication. So that's also there, and it's better if you are using in mobile, your screen is bigger, because say if you have to create a travel expense and your expense report has multiple line items, then it's easier if the screen is bigger so that you can enter it easily. So this was few of the challenges that we faced. And same goes for time also. Say in a particular day, this client I'm talking about was a financial client. So like 8 hours a day, they used to work 10 minutes per client. So you had to have so many line items. So it's easier if your screen is bigger. And then what they initiated was that instead of using the mobile phone, you can use iPad also, because the screen was bigger and had a better kind of interface related or better user experience. So that was the experience that I had. Okay.
Interesting. Very cool. Okay, great. Well, it looks like for now, yeah, you can move forward. We don't have any questions, but I will let you know when the next one pops up.
Sure. Thank you. Okay, so as I said, I started my career in IBM India, and I am actually born and brought up in India in the eastern side, right by the Ganges. And I've done my education all through in Calcutta. That's my hometown. And I was very fortunate actually to have the opportunity to work into SAP in SAP HCM since the start of my career. And when I joined IBM, the first project I worked for was a telecom client that was Avaya, and there I worked for around 1 year. It was mostly testing kind of a role that I had. Then I moved to Nestle. Nestle as means during those days, Nestle was the biggest implementation, means the largest SAP implementation that we had on globe. And there was very complex architecture. I remember it was called split architecture. So there were different boxes where the different modules were there. So there was one box for the HR, one for finance, one for P2P, and then they kind of blended and shared the information or the data. So Nestle, I worked as a configurator, and we used to do configuration for US as well as Brazil, I remember. And in SAP HCM, there are different modules that you have, like personal administration. I'll discuss more in the coming slides there. So I got a chance to work on most of the some modules that we had in HCM. Then I moved on to Nokia. So Nokia, that time means 2005. I'm talking about a mobile phone meant Nokia. So Apple was not that much in business, I would say. So it was all Nokia, and I did get a chance to travel to Finland, and I stayed there, worked there. It was very cold, means that was the first time I saw the snow. So I went during the winter. Yeah.
I get that. I lived in Sweden and went to school there, so I went to Finland in the winter, so I get it. It's meant for very strong people. I could not do it.
Exactly. Yeah, it was. I remember it was Helsinki, and Espoo was the city, so it was a very unique experience, I would say, in terms of knowledge as well as the weather and all other attributes, I would say. Then I came back. I was there for 3-4 months. I remember it was winter. And then I got a chance to work for Philip Morris International, so the company that makes Marlboro cigarettes. And I got a chance to travel to Switzerland and stayed there, worked there for almost 2 years, and learned a lot, I would say, because that time means Philip Morris was implementing ECC 4.7. That was the latest version. And I remember we had new modules like enterprise compensation management. Then we had management of global employees. That means like global assignees. Then we had management by objectives. That's the performance rating. And also learning solutions overview, which is like the learning module. So I got a chance to work there, and we had around 100 consultants that traveled from India to work for a HR implementation. And the client, I would say, was awesome. Means I still remember, means when we were in their office, they had a policy that you're not supposed to smoke any different brand, means any other brand other than Marlboro. So even if you don't smoke, they used to give us 2 cartons of cigarette every month. Means, and there was a website also where you could choose different kind of brands of cigarette. That's where I got to know what cigarettes are. So that was really fun, I would say. And I really learned a lot. And yes, Switzerland, definitely, it's a dream place. Everybody wants to be there. So we had a lot of good trips also to other neighboring countries and cities. It was really good. Then I moved back to India, and I was still working with IBM, and then I wanted to work for a domestic client because all the clients that I had earlier worked for were all international, and international clients are very organized. They have a very good structure. and it's easy to work with. And I always have enjoyed challenges in my life. So I thought, no, let me come out of the comfort zone. And I decided to quit IBM and see what my worth is outside IBM, because inside IBM, everybody knew me. So I was in my comfort zone. I wanted to venture out. And that's when I joined HP, Hewlett Packard, and I got a chance to work in a domestic project. It was for one of the banking sector, and it was totally opposite than what I had experienced in the past. So over there, people were like, more or less everybody was my dad's age, and you had to call them by sir. You can't call them by first name. So that was different. And then they did not even work or have seen the computers. So to explain them how SAP works, teach them, it was a lot of challenge. I remember I used to tell them that let's go to start and click on Windows. So one of them was stood up and was going to the window to open the window. Then I figured, oh no, I should back up. And then it was a lot of fun, I would say, and challenge also. So there I got a chance to work on Indian payroll, and Indian payroll is also very complex one. So, and it was very difficult to explain them why SAP is useful, because they are more comfortable using their paper kind of things. So it was, the challenge was good, and I was happy to work in that kind of an environment. And then I moved to Accenture. Accenture also, I got a chance to work in one of the other domestic telecom projects. So that was, I think, MTS Mobile. So there also, it was better than the previous experience, but still it was more or less the same. So that was good. And then I decided I wanted to go back to IBM, because means I was in another state in India, so I wanted to go back to my home. So then I got a chance to work for Disney. So Disney, well, I would say it's one of the most matured client I have ever worked with, and they have been having SAP since 2000. So most of the modules that we have in SAP, like CRM, and also SRM, which is the supplier relationship management, is based on how Disney's um, how should I say, the development and the product was delivered. So it was a wonderful experience, and everything was custom over there. And every day it was like a learning experience, and I got a chance to work on the travel management module. So it's not as complex as payroll, but it's also very kind of important in the sense like it has a lot of integration with finance. And also there were like payment jobs that were done, and we had, I think, I remember we had Amex, then JPMC, then we had MasterCard. All the major credit cards were there, and every other day one of the job would fail. And I was, my means the client was in PST time zone, Pacific, and I was in India, so it was really difficult. Means almost every other day I used to be working till 3 a.m. in the morning. So that was a different challenge, I would say. Then my or IBM managers only said that it's really difficult for you, so why don't you actually shift to US? So I came here in US, and I joined Disney, and I was working with Disney for more than a year in 2013. So I was based out of in California. That was, yeah. And then the project went to some other vendor. So I looked for another project, and I got a chance to work with J&J initially. So that was a short stint. So there also, it was a support project, but good in the sense like there were a variety of work that I learned there. And then I moved to Ernst and Young, and it was another implementation project, and there was like a lot of integration with other modules like CRM, which is the customer relationship management, then SRM, then finance, then P2P, then we had treasury, then project systems, lot of customization and integration. So it was a very complex implementation that I got to work with. And then I again left IBM. This was the second time that I left IBM. And then I joined Estellas. So Estellas is my current company. So I'm working there in the capacity of a service delivery manager. So I'm responsible for the employee central. Then we have the interfaces that I have been talking about, and also the recruitment module. So that's in short. Means I know it's not short, but I've tried to give you a snippet of what I have done. And currently, I have been working with Employee Central and Recruitment Module, and it's more than, I would say, 18 years now. And I have the experience of end-to-end implementation, then integration, testing, data migration, then support also. And I have the experience of working in different sections of the business, like the utilities, then media management, industrial, non-profit organization, and also banking. And yes, this year I have completed 20 years of my entire work experience. Means prior to SAP,
Wow.
I have been working as a trainee. Again, that was in PwC, but I was working as a how should I say? It was valuation work that I had done. It was mostly like many of the companies they used to how should I? It was like acquired, or it was just closing and they wanted to do some valuations. So it was mostly Excel work. So that was my experience. And also briefly, I have worked as a recruiter also in IBM. So that's in short.
Well, that's incredible, Debjani. Well, congratulations on a very well-rounded career as well. So it
Thank you.
completely makes sense that you have so many courses with all of that knowledge. We do have 2 questions coming in, but if you want to move forward to the next slide as well, we can see.
Okay, I will. Yeah, sure. So I think I did give a brief of what I would cover here, but I'll still specify more. So as I said, I have worked with IBM, Hewlett-Packard, and Accenture as a SAP HCM consultant, and my current company is Estellas. So that's a pharma company, and it's based out of it's the headquartered at Japan. So, and here I did get a chance to work with SuccessFactor, because prior to this I had never seen the SuccessFactor screen also. So I am really thankful to my seniors for giving me that opportunity, and also having the faith and trust in me, because I think that's also very important, that your manager should believe in you and have that trust that yes, you can deliver no matter what it takes. Yeah. And
very true.
Yeah, and I have worked in Europe, in as I said, Finland and Switzerland for considerable amount of time, and yes, North America the past 8 years. And well, I would relate myself to, like, yes, I'm a SAP SuccessFactor consultant, and I definitely prefer doing the mundane work, in the sense like how you do in the system, rather than doing the project management related work. That is something that it is not, how should I say, it is exciting, but I think it's not very in the sense it doesn't enhance your knowledge that much, because you are something, you're getting the work done, but actually you're not doing the work. So that is what I feel. And I have a very optimistic attitude, and I always think of providing a long-term solution to customer, because if we think from a customer perspective, they are spending so much time, effort, money, they want something which will at least sustain to them for the next 5 years. So I always try to put myself in their shoes and uh, give them a solution that is a long term and a feasible, and it's a foolproof solution. That's what my aim has always been. And yes, I try to learn something new every day. Be it a very simple thing. Say, for example, if I have known my colleague for so many years, but I didn't know that, okay, she had this habit. So that is also something new that I've learned.
I love that. Well, that feeds in very well to a question that just came in. The question is, do you feel you have more to learn in SuccessFactors, or have you mastered everything?
No, definitely. See, what I feel, I guess whoever is in SAP would say that SAP is an ocean. And I would say I have just got a flavor of very little of it. So there's like more to learn every day. Yeah.
That's a good way to say it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And nobody should be, I feel that we should not be complacent saying that, yes, I have learned everything, because every day things are changing. So we can't say that, yes, we are master or I know everything. And it's always good to know new things. That's something which is good. And then the other challenge that I really wanted, and I was, I would say, successful enough to do was the experience in designing and the architecture of the complex interfaces. And these interfaces were like really complex. When I initially had worked in interfaces, I had the experience of working, say, on 4 or 5 interfaces at a time. But now currently I'm supporting 60 plus interfaces, and that includes like it's like a direct as well as indirect interface. Direct is like you are sending a file from SuccessFactor to ADP, and indirect is like ADP is sending something to, say, Payflex or Fidelity. So it's like so much intertwined, and if one thing breaks, then it has a ripple effect. So that's why it was very difficult. And in SuccessFactor, it's not like SAP. SAP, you can use the ABAP thing where you can write your code, and it was easy to understand. It was like more English related. Even if you don't have the background of a technical person, you can still understand. But here it's like you have to write all the code in a middleware, which is like it's called CPI, the cloud platform integration, and it's more like a Java code. So it's really difficult, and many times it's difficult to understand, say, if something is working, what has broken, and as a result of which, say, something is not working. So it's like we say that necessity is the mother of invention. So I had the necessity to learn it. So because I knew that there was no one to support me, and I would say my seniors were my manager. He had faith in me, and he said, no matter what you need, you get it done. So I not let him down. So that really helped me a lot. So that was
that's wonderful.
Yeah. So that's something which I really am. I would say I'm happy that I could achieve it, and my company also appreciates that, and they do consider me as an SME. So for any interface related, means they call me Deb. So Deb has to provide her feedback or her input. So that would be the last word. So that's something which I really like, and I always try to help also others. If even if they don't ask for it, I feel that no, if I don't help it, it will take more time to resolve. So if I know something, why not help others? So that's also something which I try to do. And
that's why you've had such a fruitful career.
Yeah, thank you. And then, yes, I have conducted a lot of multiple in-house trainings. Means that since the start of my career, I would say, means before I pursued this career, when we were small, everybody means I guess it's the same here also. We were asked to write, what is your aim in life? So my aim was to become a teacher, and I always enjoyed teaching people. So that's why I always am very over enthusiastic to conduct trainings. So that way, I think it is good that if we share our knowledge, and I also will get to know new things from others. So that's something which I always like. And also, I have always volunteered to work in complex technology. Means whenever there is something very complex, there is no one, I will say, okay, I'll do it, no matter how difficult it is. Because I feel, okay, what will happen? At the most, I might not be able to be successful, but still, I should give it a try. And I think it will be worth my time and effort. So,
and we have a question coming in. It's specific to SuccessFactors. So does a company have to have SAP Finance in order to implement SuccessFactors?
So I would say some baselines of finance our structure is required, because objects like the company code, then the chart of accounts like the cost center, then GL account, task WBS. So these are all finance objects, and it's maintained in the finance system and not in SuccessFactors. So yes, for these information, you would require some basic structure of finance, so that once the data is coming in SuccessFactor, and you have your cost centers and profit centers, or your task WPS, and say somebody books time and it's charged back to cost center, so that your books of accounts can be reconciled. So yes, there is some basic requirement that is required in terms of finance maintenance.
Okay, great. Thank you. It seems like that's the most relevant one for this one, so we can move forward, and I will keep watching the questions panel.
Okay. Okay, now then I'll go to what is the benefits of being a SAP SuccessFactor consultant. Yes, I have, means it's based on my experience, and I would think that others would also agree. It's definitely exciting, and there's so much to learn. And as I said, technology changes every moment and every day. So it's better, if we want to keep up with the pace, we have to learn new things, definitely, so that I don't become redundant. I definitely, means till the last day of my life, I want to learn something new. So, and try to kind of enrich myself. And then the next benefit, yes, definitely global travel to faraway lands. And I also enjoy working in a cultural environment, like where you have people from all over the world working together, discussing things. And I think the way that we bond is through SAP SuccessFactors. So definitely I enjoy that. And I remember, means my client Philip Morris paid for our business trip. So whenever we used to travel to Switzerland, I used to get business travel, means which I myself cannot afford, I would say. So it's really wonderful, I would say, that way. And yes, pay wise, it's good, definitely, and it's worth the effort that we put in. And yes, expenses are also covered, and you get a chance to stay in nice hotels, 5-star hotels, which definitely it's not possible for a normal person to afford based on whatever income we do. And yes, good is that you have a wide community, SAP community. You get a chance to meet a lot of people, and from different countries, so know their culture, their food, their way of life, and also their attitude, in the sense like how they treat the work and every other thing. So it's, and you make a lot of good friends. Means I still remember my friends from my from since my Philip Morris days. So it's like being more than 15 years, and we just like text away. So whenever we text, we interact. They ask me what I am doing, I ask them what they are doing. So it's really fun, I would say. And yes, I love the food, and our customers used to give us great food. Means when we were in PMI, I remember every day during our UAT, which is the user acceptance testing cycle, which lasted for more than a month, we used to get snacks every evening. So sandwich, then juice, and I don't drink alcohol, so alcohol used to also be there, but they used to get us juice for me and one of my other colleagues. It was really good, I would say. And then pizza also. And then we had just before I think go live, I remember we had to work around 8 or 9 o'clock in the night. So there were like a la carte food that was ordered. Okay, what will you have? What will you have? So that was the kind of treatment we received. So I'm really thankful there. And the favorite fun time means it's like there are a lot of fun times that we have, but the favorite one I enjoy is like where you have the war rooms where it's like a big room and you have a lot of tables, and each table has one placard, say like CRM, HR, and finance, and everybody's testing, and then they are kind of arguing. Especially most of the people go to finance team because finance is the main module, and they only define more or less your structure, the enterprise structure, and then all the other modules click in, and they have it starts with arguments, and then it ends up with peaceful agreements. Okay, we'll do this. Let's just finish the UAT now. We'll do it as a post go live enhancement or something like that. So that's fun to watch. And then you have the defect status meetings. That's also another fun place. Say a person who has lot of defects, based on the priority, that person will get a lot of kind of they have to answer why the defect is not moving. So they might say, oh, I'm dependent on the consultant who is the developer who is working on it, or I'm waiting for the basis person to move my transport request. So that's like a blame game that happens. It's fun to watch. It's nothing like very serious, but it's good. And then also data load and cutover meetings. So that's also something. Data load, the plan you have, it's like a what is it? An MPP power MPP plan, which is lasting for say 100 pages, and then it is like a relay race. So the first thing is done, and then the second thing. So if the first activity takes more time than all your other um, activities that are planned for the next few times, they also gets impacted. And then you have the cutover meetings. So it's like, okay, this is assigned to this person. Why did this person not do? So it's fun, I would say. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And I see we're about, which is crazy, it's flown by. We're about 40 minutes past the hour already. So yeah, it looks like right now, we don't have any questions coming in. If you want to continue to other slides.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so as I said, I till date I have created 9 courses in MMC, and these are the 6 courses which are very much which are, I would say, relatively more popular than the others. And I thought of providing a coupon. So the coupon says March 15th, and today is 15th of March. So there is a discount of 15%, and it will expire on the 31st of March. So hope you like my courses. And yes, there are more courses that are in the pipeline. So, and if you have any suggestion for some courses which you are more interested in knowing, then definitely I will try and create one based on the request or recommendation you have.
And I can attest to your courses, Debjani. They are great. I've been reviewing them. So yeah, and great with the 15%. So hopefully it will be easy for everyone to remember for March 15th.
Okay, yeah. Then I'll move to the next slide. Okay, so MMC, yes, definitely it's a platform where I remember when I joined MNC in 2018, I think. Means I found, wow, it's a very wonderful place. Why in the sense you have a system where you can do your kind of learning, and what I would say is that there's nothing wrong if you say make a mistake. It's fine, means because people learn from their mistakes. So, and it's a play system, so you can do some configuration or do some coding and then see how it comes up. So when I started in IBM in 2003, I was fortunate enough to have a system, and it was a play system, dummy system. It was called Shatadru, I remember. So there, I also used to make a lot of mistakes, but yes, that's how I learned. And yes, the courses that we have in micromanagement, they are really good, and it's not very complex courses, so you need not have that, say you need a there are not much prerequisite. I would say that yes, the person need to know some technical knowledge before they work, but it's more in an English way, so it's easy to understand. So I would definitely encourage all whoever has joined and whoever wants to pursue that, please take the advantage of this opportunity and try to enrich yourself. It will benefit you. It means it will never kind of be a waste of your money or your time, I would say. It will definitely benefit, and it will help you to grow every day. Yeah. Mm. Then I will go to the next slide. Okay. So now I would like to say how SAP and SuccessFactors have helped me as a consultant and also as an individual. So now that we know that it's more of a cloud application that we are, or cloud environment that people are moving to. So out of all the corporations we have, around 90% of the corporations and government also uses either SAP or SuccessFactors for their HR needs. So when I started my career, they used to say HR, oh, that is something which is a nice to have module. But they used to more work on other modules like finance, materials management, or P2P. But when I started my career, I saw suddenly there is like a need for HR, because HR also, there are so many sub modules, and it's easy to have an enterprise ERP solution, as we call, so that every information is there in a centralized system where you can get reports very easily. And then there are a lot of country specific requirements, so which is already inbuilt in SAP or SuccessFactors. So that helps a lot, because country specific requirements is something which is very specific to our countries. Being in US, I might not be knowing what is a requirement for, say, EMEA. So EMEA, like, they have a GDPR requirement, so they have a global data privacy requirement, so which we are not aware of in US. So these things are already taken care by SAP and SuccessFactors. So definitely it helps a lot. And then talking about SuccessFactor, I would say most of the clients that I have worked on in the past and for SAP, they are now moving to cloud solution, and SuccessFactor is their preferred application. Why? Because it's very cost effective, and SuccessFactor is a product of SAP, so it makes more sense that if you are having SAP, to move from one SAP solution to another SAP solution. And it's easier for means a person who has worked in both the products, they can understand the difference. In SAP, it's like there's a lot of things that you actually need to be organized, but here it's like it's easy and it doesn't require that much experienced resource to implement a success factor. And the time required is definitely very less. Means if you compare a SAP implementation, it takes at least a year. That's the minimum, even if you have, say, very basic modules. But for success factor, you can just implement 2 or 3 modules within 6 months, and it's very user friendly. just like Facebook, I would say. So that way, it's very useful.
Interesting. Well, we have a good question that just came in. They're saying with the ease of SuccessFactors and cloud technology, will HCM be in use in the future, or will everyone be switching to SuccessFactors?
So, very good question. I also think this many times, because now that everybody is moving to SuccessFactor, will it be that SAP HCM will become redundant? Well, I don't think so. Probably there might be some limitations of SuccessFactor which they are trying to do away with, but it's not possible. So for SAP, it's like SAP had a roadmap. I think it was 2025. They were saying that they will do away with all the on-premise system and will move to cloud solutions. But they are still in two minds, because I guess it's the comfort also for a client who already has SAP and they are doing very well. So again, training their resources, having an implementation system. And the main other issue that I see is based on my experience that I'm having in my current organization also, like the historical data. So in SAP, say you have been working on SAP for the past 15 years and now you're moving to SuccessFactors. So you can't get your entire history, means historical data, from SAP to SuccessFactors. So you still need to keep your legacy system there. And especially say we have rehires, say somebody who has left the organization in 2009 and is again coming, joining the same organization. So they should actually be rehire and not a new hire. So how do we deal all those things? So I would still say that yes, SAP is there to stay, but yes, SuccessFactor is more useful for clients who are like having very how should I say, it's very defined needs, and it's easier, and the count of employees is also limited. Yes, definitely they would like to do it, and it's more cost effective and also user friendly.
Okay, very interesting. Good to know. And we have another question coming in based off of that, saying if someone is to be becoming proficient in SAP right now, focusing on HR modules, would you recommend they focus on SuccessFactors over HCM?
Well, I would say it depends actually, because I mean, what I have done is that I have first learned SAP HCM and then SuccessFactors. So if you know HCM earlier, then it's very easy for you to pick up SuccessFactor, because most of the things are whatever is there in SAP is there in SuccessFactor in a different way. So I would say that yes, SAP will definitely give you the base, and then SuccessFactor is more of intuitive in the sense of using it. So I would say try to balance both of it. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of both. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, then why SAP HCM? So SAP HCM is like, it gives you can think as an employee. So from the start date of your joining the organization till the day you're leaving the organization, it maintains the life cycle of an employee. So whatever you do, the first thing is like the organization management. So here, like, a position is created for you. Position is what? It's a chair where you're sitting. And then you have your organization structures. So position is assigned to a department, then an organization unit, then you have a manager, then you have a cost center who is incurring your cost. So once that is done, then comes the personal management. Personal management is your actions, day-to-day actions, like the new hire, promotion, transfer, leave of absence, and all other actions that you can think of. Then what you have is travel management. Travel management is actually, there was a lot of debate whether travel management should stay in SAP HCM or should it go to finance. So because it has a lot of integration with finance. So travel management is a module which is not implemented by all the clients. So many clients now go for Concur, which is more user friendly. But yes, travel management is also something, a very niche area, and it is required if the person has to travel, say, on domestic travel or international travel. Then comes what? Training and event management. So training is something which is a part and parcel of your life, in your everyday life. So it will identify the training needs based on your experience or based on your organization needs. So that will let you know what trainings you have to do. Then is very important is the payroll. So payroll is something which will give you the payment for the entire month. So that will tell, okay, what type of employee you are, whether you're a salaried employee, and what is your pay frequency, what are your pay components. Like you have a basic pay, you have other allowances, then you have the bonus. How will that calculation happen? And it has a lot of integration with finance, because based on your payments, that amount or the chargeback goes to finance, so that the books of accounts can be synchronized. And also project systems is something which is useful for tracking the expenses. Then you have time management. So time management is normally used for companies like Ernst and Young, my previous client that I have worked for. So they work for different clients. So they need to charge time, that how much time they have spent on each of the client. And they then based on that, they get the money back. So booking time is actually giving revenue to the organization. So that's something which is very important. Then you have different aspects of time management, like the positive time management, negative time management. And then we have the information systems. So information system is nothing like you get reports that, okay, what is the headcount of my company? How many new hires I have? How many people are promoted? How many people are on LOA? How many absentees I have? So it gives a total snippet of it. And as I said, that lot of country specific features are there, which is very specific to a country, and it's already implemented or it's already there in SAP HCM. You need to just use it. So that's in short that why we need SAP HCM. Any
That's
questions?
a very good overview. Thank you. No, it looks like I do have a success factors question, but I'll keep it until we go to the success factors slide.
Sure. Yeah, this is the slide where we have success factor. Okay. So now why success factors? So the first and foremost thing is that success factor is a cloud application. So it's very easy to implement. Like I said, the timeline required is far less. It's more cost effective. In the sense why? Because you need not have an on-premise system to store all your data. And since it's a cloud application, you can rent that place, and it's easy, and it's also very safe. People might think, oh, since it's in the cloud, are we compromising the data? Definitely not. All those things are already in place, so it's very effective way of storing your data, and also it's very easy to use. Yeah, since I've worked in SAP HCM, and when I compare myself doing SuccessFactor, it's more flexible and it has lot of more options, I would say. A simple example would be like in SAP HCM, an employee can have just one action. Action is like, say, hiring or promotion or transfer on a particular date, because that is something how SAP is defined. But in SuccessFactor, you can have n number of events. That is how it's called in SuccessFactor, or actions on a particular day. So like a person can have hiring action, data change action, manager change action, say promotion action, all have effective on a same day. So it causes it means there are demerits as well as merits also. The merits is like it's easy for a data analyst to enter it, but it's difficult for an interface, because the interface can only accept one action. So you have to kind of modify your interface logic so that you can get the most preferred action or the event to be sent to your downstream applications. And like SuccessFactor also have different sub modules. It's not mandatory that you implement all of them. but the basic one that you have is Employee Central. So it houses all your employee data. Then it has all the events that are there for an employee life cycle, like your hiring, data change, manager change, then leave of absence. And also you can store the non-employee information also in Employee Central module. And then you have the workforce planning that is also there. It's more from a budgeting perspective. There is one more SAP module also. It's called MRP, multi-resource planning. So that's the substitute of it. Then you have learning. So learning is like your training and event management that we had. So all your learning history will be stored, and based on your uh, information, based on your organization needs or your levels, different learning will be assigned to you, and you have to complete them. Then you have recruitment. So recruitment, currently what SuccessFactor does is that it helps in the internal recruitment, means like people who are recruited within the organization. So it helps in that. You can create a job requisition, post it, and have it, and people can apply, update their resume. Then you have the interview results and all other things. Then you have the performance and goals. So that helps you in your performance rating. And the good part of performance goals and also succession modules is like it's a it's a tool that is already there. You just have to use it. There's very limited customization that is required. So like a Microsoft Office product like Excel, you don't need that much of a customization. So here also you can just use it. But yes, definitely the employee data should be there. And then you have compensation also, where you can evaluate your compensation for the employees and then define what should be their other modules, or what should be their salary for the next year, and bonus and all other things. And then you have Jam. Jam is more of a tool where you can chat and browse and provide your feedback. And as I said, there is like other platforms, means how you can interact with the other modules. So there is like the CPI, that's one technology platform where you can write the code, which is called a middleware, and through that you can send the data to other vendors like ADP, Fieldglass. And the integration between all these modules, it's already available. So you just need to enable it, and that's how the data will flow. So like for example, if an employee record is there, it will automatically flow to performance also. So you can appraise the person if the employee data is already there. So there is not much customization that is required.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Okay, well, we are just about to wrap up. It's almost the top of the hour, but I have one question coming in that I think will be good for everyone on the webinar to learn more about.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a question coming in from someone who's saying that they're interested in working with SuccessFactors, but they don't have a technical background. Since it's a cloud platform, do you have to have a technical background to work with SuccessFactors?
No, I would not say, definitely not required, because if you are actually doing some coding part, which is in a middleware, that is a very specialized knowledge you require. But for just knowing SuccessFactor, like Employee Central or any other module like recruitment, goals, performance, you don't need any technical background. You just need to have the just take yourself as a employee, as an organization, that yes, this is how my day-to-day activities are, and that is how we are replicating in the system. So it's definitely not required.
Okay, great. And I see, I want to make sure Anthony gets his question answered, and let me know if you want clarification on this. He said, can you please speak on project management? So I'm guessing just sort of overall SAP being on different implementation projects. Anthony, if you want to clarify that, please write in a clarification on that question. But I'm guessing, yeah, just sort of your experience working with project management on SAP implementation.
Okay, so project management in the sense, yes, it's very important. You need a good project management PM, project manager, that who will track the progress in a Microsoft project plan and provide regular updates. And then if there are some outstanding items from each of the team members, follow up with them, and also provide a regular project status. Yes, it's very much required. And the updation of the project plan is also on a regular basis, like every 2 days, is also required. So it's better you have a structured way, with timelines for each of them, that yes, by this time, means like we know for a project, we start first is the uh, requirements gathering stage, then we have the design phase, then we have the realization phase, that means the build phase, followed by the testing, and then system integration testing, and then user acceptance testing, then you have the data load, and then further testing. So yes, you definitely need to have a detailed plan, not just like one slide, but yes, who will do what, who is accountable for each of them, what if there are any hiccups, what are the workarounds, and all other details. Yes, it's very much required. That's an integral part for sure.
Okay, good. And they wrote one clarification. What SAP program would you recommend for project management?
SAP program, if you can just clarify the question more. Is it like you're saying, if what SAP tool that we have for project management, or is it like very specific to project systems? Because that's also another module that we have in SAP HCM.
Yes, it's a SAP tool.
Oh, SAP tool. See, for us, we normally means it's very different for each of the clients. So the preferred tool that we have seen is, or based on my experiences, being Microsoft Project Plan. Many clients also use Jira. That's also another tool to track project management. And it's mostly used where you have, how should I say, a agile tech methodology rather than a waterfall methodology. So it's easier. And many clients also use HPALM also as their project management tool, and for defect tracking. So it's a mix, I would say.
Okay, good. Wonderful. Thank you. And thank you, Anthony, for clarifying it, and Debjani for going into further detail on that. So I know you are, just with your background as well, we know you have a lot to do outside of being on our webinars. So I will wrap this up so you can get back to all of that. But thank you very much telling us about your background and clarification on HCM and SuccessFactors. So for anyone watching as well, this is live streamed, so you can always go to our YouTube channel, the Micromanagement YouTube channel, subscribe. You'll see our live Q&As are bi-monthly. So thank you, Debjani, for your time. We really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much. And I hope I have been able to answer most of your questions, and I hope you like my session. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Debjani. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.